Roll call, Dennis Cruz. Here. Jim Molesky. Here. Here from Stevens. And also in attendance, Mayor, Safety Service Director, Auditor, Engineer, along with council members, Jacobs, Breeze, Winkle, Swank, and of course, and at this point, I'm assuming everyone had a chance to look over the financial meeting minutes of November 11th, 18th, and 19th. Are there any questions, comments? Seeing none, the minutes are approved as they stand. And the meeting purpose is T52-21, 2021, excuse me, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract according to law and the manner prescribed by law for the relocation and construction of a landscape ground and all necessary purchases not to exceed $150,000. I'm going to ask the mayor if he would like to go on to a further explanation.
I would love to. So if you've ever been to the service garage in your backyard, that's where they take dirt that they have excavated, mainly from water main breaks. It could be a million other different things, but that dirt has accumulated into, let's say, a mountain at this point, right? Yeah, it's pretty big. So it's just accumulated, like I said, for decades. And it is towards the back of the property, towards the western edge of the property, and with the potential of a police station in that particular area. It was something that we decided to start working on to get rid of. So that's the reason why it's coming before you. Moving dirt is extremely expensive, and to move all that. One of the biggest problem was finding a location, and then it's actually getting it there. But we have figured out a location. There's an area off of Schaefer where the back part of the old Tory farm butts up against the residential neighborhood there. We're going to create a mound that then creates a buffer between those two properties. And I don't remember the exact dimension of the mound, but it's going to take all of that dirt. So we have some costs that we're going to have to incur to move it. And that's why this ordinance is important. Short term.
And I guess what I'm going to do is ask auditor that apparently this has been allocated in the budget.
No, this has not been appropriated.
So where would we find the money for this?
In our conversations between the mayor and myself and folks at the service department, it appears that the mound is as a result of water sewer work. So we would take split the cost between those two funds.
I'm sorry, I got it here for 2 points.
Water and sewer.
Yeah, as I mentioned, most of the dirt came from that. There is maybe a slight amount that over the years that has come from street projects, but for the most part, it's excavating during water and sewer events. So it just made sense that that's where we would take the money from.
Mr. Engineer, any comments?
Just a couple comments on what the mayor said about the size. The size is approximately 500 feet long. It will span 2 in the rear of the Tory parcels, and it'll be about approximately 20 feet tall. The sign is all shaped out, with the width on the bottom of anywhere from 60 to 70 feet width on the bottom, peaking at the top at about 20 feet. There's about almost 11,000 yards estimated up there out there, which is quite significant.
Mr. Safety Service Director, look like you might want to make a comment.
We started moving this dirt with our crews several years ago with the idea that the fire station was going to be built, which it was, and realized at that point it would take us years to move this dirt. The type of vehicles that we would have, if we did get a move for the fire station, and knew that with the police station possibility that we went there, that we needed to have this dirt moved to another location. And sometimes it's very hard to get rid of this kind of dirt. And we were able to find a place where they would actually take it for free and where they wanted it for landscaping or for a mound for themselves to make the field disappear from the houses. So we got lucky in that portion. I thought we were, at one time, we were going to have to take it over Race Road. That would be a substantial amount of money per load or to any other waste area to take it. And it's really not waste dirt. It is waste dirt because it came from an area, but it's dirt that serves the purpose for what inventory, so what we feel is over.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Couple of things. There's no chance there's some type of environmental issue when it gets put there and some kind of smell butts up against a residential area. How close are we talking against hops?
Well, there's a lake in between there's water in between where the mountain is going to be, and it's probably 75 or maybe more, probably 150, 200 feet from the shoreline.
Okay, and there's no chance of that seeping into the lake?
No, there's no seepage at all from the dirt that we're moving. There's no environmental concerns. We have it anyway whatsoever.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Booth?
I guess a couple of questions. Have we looked? Are we sure that there isn't any city property that this dirt can be moved to versus building a mound on private property that is ours? For example, some talk many years ago of building a hill over on Frontier Park. Is there any other places in our park systems that mounding could be used to accommodate that dirt? Is there a possibility that anywhere where the current service garage location is, that mounding could be done there? That at some point pay for versus get rid of it now? I'm just concerned about building something on private property that private developers should do something. Understanding that it costs money to take it.
We're actually scheduled to do some more digging of dirt out of the ground. You mentioned Frontier Park, for example. One of the suggestions is that we lower the grade there and basically dig out, I don't remember the exact thousands of yards of dirt out of that location. So we're going to have some extra dirt that we will have in the not too distant future, including Bolton Drive retention basin project. And there's always sewer breaks. We're always have dirt somewhere at some point in time. It's just the volume that we have in that particular location right now. It's just enormous. And but you know, the challenge with doing it over the service garage, for example, you know, we were talking about some fencing, talking about some kind of mounds. We're not really sure what that will look like. And so we're still trying to plan out what we might want to do in that location. You know, we don't want to do something that we're going to wind up tearing out in a couple of years later. So we haven't found another spot.
To further, for example, Shady Drive. The city has additional park there to the west, where new homes are putting up against that. Arrangement around there might be a possibility. Again, rather than putting it on private property.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, even if we were to do that, we're still gonna have to pay somebody to move it.
Right.
And so, in the end, that's what this means as far as the, so where we move it to. I mean, I don't know if there's anything, have you ever looked at a mound over by, Shady?
I have not, but that would be something that probably the Parks Director should be involved with. There are future plans for that expansion to the west of the current park. So I don't know where a mountain would fit in with those, and I've seen the concept once, but I haven't seen that concept since. So he would have to be in on that discussion. But I know he has plans for that western edge of the park or western property that may be vacant right now that butts up against those homes. As far as other city land, I don't believe there's any other city land, like the mayor said, they're gonna be doing some work at Frontier Park. So it's not really advantageous to take it there. We don't own any other big swaths of land that we would be able to pile this dirt on. It just seemed like an opportunity. It's close. It's in the vicinity here. It's a really quick trip back and forth. It's gonna help with our bid pricing. And it's a decent location for this.
Is there an opportunity that the property owner, which, again, I can't tell if it's gonna be MSCFG LLC or Ridge Minerals LLC, if it's gonna span both properties, that's what it indicates in the legislation. Is there an opportunity that they could help compensate or take care of some of the cost in mounting it themselves? We take the dirt there, and because at the end of the day, it's gonna improve their property for whatever additional homes and such that they, or businesses or whatever they build in there. I'm concerned $150,000 is not budgeted. That's a lot of money. I understand it's coming from the water and sewer fund, but there's other things that money could go towards, as we all know. And so I'm just trying to be as frugal as we can when private property is involved. I guess that's my.
I might say that the stacking of this dirt is 60 years worth of storage, at least, as they started, because there's probably 3 to 5, maybe more than that, foot difference between the fire station where it sits today and the new police station where it sits on the grindings, which is not an issue, but you're already 4 to 5 feet above. If you go over and look at the elevation change over there. We did look at West Point. There's mounds of dirt over there that were there, and that dirt was pushed up at the West Point detention basin. And there's an area over there that we could possibly, but we want to save that area for the spoils or something as we go forward.
Sure.
We're going to have a place to put dirt. And certainly when I made the phone call to get to Ridge Minerals, from the standpoint, and I did, to take it over to Race Road, I was looking for a discount. What I got was a free discount. So we were going to have to pay to get rid of the dirt. Either that or I have to take it to West Point, or we would have to take the West Point or have to distribute it other places. There's other people that would like to have dirt, but consequently, when you get into that, there's going to be plenty of dirt to be gotten over the years, because certainly you don't want to restack it over at the service garage if we repurpose that. That there's plenty of places as we dig, we can take it and to these other places and dump the dirt at that point. But it made all the sense in the world to concentrate the effort so that there wasn't any, well, I'm going to go this part of town, I'm going to go to this part of town, I'm going to go to this part of town, that part of town. This was a fairly simple way of spending and getting rid of 11,000 yards of dirt and restarting the clock, you might say, to then take in the place that instead of distributing it there, have the garage take it over here and approve dump sites to take it over there. And over the years, it will work, but this made it simple for us to administer and to manage throughout the city, and for the engineers to really oversee, to make sure that it was being placed in the proper place and it was being seeded and done right.
Just 2 more questions, Mr. Chairman. One to the auditor. So when it's going to be a 75-75 split of both funds, or we haven't determined that yet?
I would say so, yes.
And so what will this leave those balances looking like after this gets done with all encumbered expenses?
The carry forward or fund balances in those funds are pretty strong right now. I don't anticipate this having a huge impact on that, but I can certainly get those numbers to you tomorrow.
That would be great, thank you. And then my final comment would be, I just think that whatever we could do to try to get to be used on city property would be great. I'll go back to Shady Drive. Currently, the developed areas of Shady Drive is already boundaried by creeks and by a nice fence road. The new land we have to the west that is yet to be developed doesn't have any boundaries other than it will butt up against residential units now. And so it'd be nice to have a small mound all the way around. And again, I'm not an engineer and I'm not suggesting that this would work. But again, for my druthers, it'd be nice if we could try to find a place on city property to put it versus on private. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I'll open it up to the gallery. Yes.
Is the service department currently dropping the dirt in that spot, or are they doing it elsewhere?
Elsewhere. We take a lot of dirt over Ridge Minerals. The price is actually, at one time it was free several years ago. Price had to go up and then it went up and it's gone up again. So we don't try to add to that pile in any way whatsoever. We try to find alternative sites as we know that we have to move it for other functions for the city. So we're not adding to the pile of any substance at all. We might take a load over there because we got to sort through it or whatever, and then we move it out. It's really expensive to move it 2 or 3 times. We want to move it once, want to move it one area and get it moved out. There's going to be plenty of dirt for any park that you want to put it in. There's no question in my mind, there'll be plenty of dirt. I mean, and we can establish that, put the mound, and we can actually mount it up, I'm sure, if it makes sense, and put the mounds in. That's what the park wants.
My only concern with that is that area is already suffering flood issues. And I don't know if the mound would exacerbate that or not.
We'd have to make sure that
environmental
environmentally makes sense.
Any other questions? Comments?
Yeah, one of the comments the mayor made was the reason for moving the dirt was because of the potential police station. Is that just for aesthetics, or would that be required to be removed in order to build a potential police station?
It's in the way, so it has to be moved.
Again, I don't have a problem moving it.
Sure, I get it. I understand.
Let's move it.
Yeah.
Question I have,
And Dennis, we would have planned for and budgeted it if we had thought, far enough ahead, but the police station kind of came along and it just came in after, we had already made our budget and everything else.
a question I have too is, I do have some experience as far as landfills are concerned, and I do know that these landfills, every so many feet, they have to put in dirt. And so many, has that been checked out with some of the local landfills, whether they would be interested in that mound of dirt?
I haven't actually made that phone call, but I know how Allied and Republic operates. They have their fill, they scrape and they know where they're digging, they know what they're filling, they know the dirt that they've got. So I don't anticipate, I can make that phone call, but I don't anticipate them saying, yes, bring it to us.
I know years back, they were begging for dirt.
No, they're not begging for dirt out there. They're begging for more holes to put more garbage outside. They have to dig the holes in order to put the garbage in. Then they got a layer, that's how it works.
Comes down and they need it filtered.
It'd be really expensive to bring it down to Youngstown.
But if they need it, they can.
Yeah, I know, I can too.
We'll just have Jeff just drive it. That's
Right, yeah. It is a pickup truck, one load at a time.
Mrs. Moss, is there anybody on the line that would like to ask questions?
Yes, there is. On our YouTube live channel, we have Frank Toth, resident living at, I'm assuming it's his address because it's abbreviated, 35300 Nikki Avenue. This resident says, I agree with Mr. Booz's concerns using city-owned material and taxpayers' funds to improve a private property is something that needs to be carefully deliberated. In spite of Mr. Armbruster's comments, I respectfully, agree with Mr. Booz. So that's the comment the resident wanted to.
Yeah, and I get that, and Jeff had mentioned that the original plan was for us to bring it to the landfill and pay to, get rid of it. And then during the course of that conversation, it came up where they said, well, actually, we take it. We wouldn't have to pay. So this, in essence, is saving us quite a bit of money. And I get the idea of using it on private property. Just, we have an opportunity to get rid of it. We have one location that we're going to, and we're saving money doing it. It made sense.
That was the last of the comments at this time.
Okay. Well, it seems like there's still some questions outstanding. I'm not sure that we should refer it on to council at this point. Can I have comment from the committee, please?
I'll make the motion that we recommend that we send it back to council for their consideration.
Because the question isn't the financing of it, the question is where it's going, correct?
Correct, going back to council. Typically,
No, where the dirt's going. I'm sorry, the question isn't about us spending the money, the question is about where the bill is going.
correct. Well, the question is, do we spend $167,000 to move the dirt and put it on the two parcels in the community, which is private property? And my recommendation is that we send it back to council. I'm not saying to approve it, but for their consideration.
Second it.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So the motion moves to send it back to council for consideration. And so this needs